Welcome back. First and Inches, back here again. You know what we're here for. We're here to stand on business.
You know the deal. We give you accurate information.
We're giving you info.
Hot takes.
Sleepers.
And
fun.
Everything in between. You can fill in the blanks.
We're giving you fun.
Yes.
And knowledge. Where are you getting that? I don't know. Not a lot of other places, right?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Dave and Buster's. That being said, like, subscribe, comment, do all the classics. So please like and subscribe. Follow my Twitter at @firstandinches_. First, the number one, not the word.
Thank you, and we'll get into our actual.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Enough with this mumbo jumbo spiel.
It's bullshit anyway.
Yeah, it's all BS. Follow us. It helps us out. We appreciate the support we've been receiving recently.
Yeah.
Our video's been doing pretty well. We hope that continues. We hope you like what we're putting out. Let's get right into this one. Today we're going to be going over some Dynasty fantasy football sleepers. Mm-hmm. Some guys that we think are overlooked in the grand landscape of Dynasty fantasy football right now. All my guys I have outside of the top 100 on Keep Trade Cut. Keep Trade Cut, interesting website. I know a lot of people, especially in like the Dynasty Sharp community, shit on it. I think it's good for like a baseline rankings kind of. I would never take their trade calculator seriously.
I think it's good to get your league mates on it and then take advantage of it.
Yeah, that is also a good.
That's like my favorite thing.
Yes, have this trade calculator sick.
Yo, that's what people tried to do to me when I first learned about it. 100%. Like they'd be like, "Look what Keep Trade Cut says." I'm just like,
it's bullshit.
Their
trade calculator's pretty garbage, but I think it's a big resource.
We'll get into this later.
I think it's a good baseline just to say, hey, this guy is ranked here on this website. It's like the biggest Dynasty ranking website.
It's only a good talking point, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good talking point. It's just we're using it to kind of just make a point.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
It's far from gospel. It's not great, but it's a general ranking. It's crowdsourced. I think it's a decent baseline ranking.
I think enough people use it, no matter if it's false or not, that it has some sort of weight to it.
Yeah, it's a decent baseline for the rankings. I wouldn't take their trade values into much account, but enough with that. Najee Harris, running back 22, 100th overall on Keep Trade Cut. This guy isn't really a sleeper. Very no-name first-round pick. Mm-hmm. Went to Bama. If you've been a football fan for the last 5 years, you know who Najee Harris is. But I think there's kind of like a player fatigue with this guy. I mean, he wasn't particularly efficient his first 2 years in the NFL. This was his third year in a row of 1,000 rushing yards, 8 total touchdowns. He went over 4 yards per carry for the first time in his career this year, which is crazy. First 2 years, I believe, was 3.8, 3.9. He was 4.1 this year. He was the PPR running back 23, 11.5 points per game, and that's with his receiving production taking a massive dip. He had like 20 catches this year, and he had like 70 his rookie year. Also playing with skeleton Big Ben, dumping the ball off every 3 plays helped. But this is a guy who provides a RB2 floor here easily. 6th in the league in carries, 8th in red zone touches, 7th in rushing yards. So this guy seems like a stealer to me. Mike Tomlin obviously loves him. They use him a lot.
In the red zone, especially. They love
8th in red zone touches. I mean, he is a good goal line back. He's a big body. Sometimes just watching him, he goes laterally too much. I'm like, dude, just drop your shoulder and get 5.
He's not the quickest.
No. But
for sure.
No, he's very not quick laterally, but he's not like slow once he goes straight, once he gets going.
He needs a little bit of space to get going, but
yeah, but I mean, this was his most efficient year. He was I think top 15 or 20 in rushing yards over expected this year. I think a lot of that is due to the Steelers' offensive line being a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
But still under his rookie contract as well. They could pick up his 5th year. I don't know if they do. I think they probably will. Probably not super expensive. It's probably worth. They probably will. I would think.
Why wouldn't they?
This is a player that feels like a Pittsburgh Steeler, right?
He does, and especially with the 1-2 punch they have going, the Thunder and Lightning with him and Warren.
Everyone loves Warren, rightfully so. He's a great player, but I think that's kind of like a shiny new toy thing.
Yeah, but
Najee has a better pedigree. He's still a better between the tackles runner, I would argue, and they're going to use him in the red zone a lot. He also faced an average of 7 defenders in the box this year. That's not good.
Well, yeah, because there was literally
their quarterback was hard. Yeah, it's obviously
no pass threat.
No, why wouldn't you put? I would put 9 in the box against the Steelers.
Me too.
So,
Me too.
Still ranked 13th in yards created, 11th in rushing yards over expected, like I had mentioned previously. I think I said a different number, but he was 11th. Like I said, seems like major fatigue with this guy. He was a super high start. I think shout out our friend Steven. He took him like top of the second round in our startup last year.
Yeah.
This is a guy whose value's taken a tremendous dip. He was probably overdrafted last year just because of the volume he received his rookie year. He wasn't that efficient. But, I mean, you're still getting a pretty decent running back 2 floor. He's going to score. He'll probably have 1,000 rushing yards. If he gets a little bit more involved in the pass game, you're getting.
Though,
I agree with Warren there. I think this is a guy where you're buying him at his floor, and it's just a good producer. I wouldn't be buying this guy if you're a rebuilding team, but
No, if it's like a final piece to the puzzle.
I would assume the person who owns him probably is tired of him for whatever reason, just because of the narrative surrounding him, and Jalen Warren is more explosive.
Yeah, especially at this moment. If you're this is probably the cheapest you can get Najee, unless he goes completely.
Unless
left.
they give Warren a 70-30 split next year, which I don't see happening.
No, especially with the red zone production of Najee.
There's no way. Yeah, third year in a row, 1,000+ rushing, 8 total touchdowns. He is a productive running back, regardless of what anyone thinks of him. He's not flashy. He's not the sexy sleeper here.
He's the Stephen Kwan.
Stephen.
He's like my fantasy
He's
MLB
just like
sleeper, if you haven't seen that.
And if not, I feel like if Najee were to ever leave Pittsburgh and go to like a situation like a guy like David Montgomery did, he would be fantastic.
Yeah, I
think this is a very good dynasty buy right now. I believe he's only 25 years old still. Probably has a couple years left in the tank. I would assume the next 2 are with Pittsburgh, but I think this is a good buy at like in the 100th overall player value range.
No, I agree, bro. I think that's an awesome pick. I'm gonna piggyback that off with another running back here.
Piggyback that.
This is when I was going through Keep Trade Cut to make this video, I was baffled. James Conner being the RB30.
That's crazy. Well, it's just because he's 30 years old.
I think he's 29.
You're buying him for a year or two, but that's a criminal undervalue. Would you take Zach Charbonnet over him for the next 2 years?
Would you take Keaton Mitchell over him?
No.
Would you take Jerome Ford over him?
No.
Would you take Kendre Miller over him?
Low key, maybe.
Bro, be honest to yourself.
It depends on the team. It depends on my team. And Kendre Miller would be a toss-up depending on the context of my team. If I was a contender and I needed an extra running back, I would send Kendre Miller for James Conner.
All three of those,
sure.
I mean...
But Jerome Ford and Keaton Mitchell, I'm swapping all
Those
day.
3 are the closest adjacent running back values.
On Keep Trade Cut?
On Keep Trade Cut, which is jaw-dropping.
Well, all Conner does is produce. Let me go into your spiel about him.
Yes.
I know you are a James Conner
I love James
lover.
Conner. This guy, good for him, beat a horrible disease.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that he's back.
Great man.
Great guy.
A man of character, I would
Literally
say.
a man of character. And, whatever. So, 4.7 true yards per carry, 9th in the league. 24.7% juke rate, number 8 in the league. He had 13 breakaway runs, 6th in the league.
Still got some juice. And he missed a couple games, I believe, right?
This guy has juice.
He's still got juice left.
Rushed for 1,000 yards. He had 9 total touchdowns. I think it was 7 rushing, 2 receiving. 5 yards per carry, 6 in the league.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Cardinals' offensive line isn't the 1993 Cowboys.
No. I think this team has a very, very, very solid chance to get better over this next year.
I think it's almost a guarantee.
It's
with their draft capital, I would say it's a guarantee. I think they have a little bit of cap maneuverability too.
Dude, and Kyler coming back at the second. He played great.
Kyler's second year off ACL. Yeah.
So it's just like I think they're going to have more red zone opportunities. He'll be able to score maybe more. He might actually get up to like 12 touchdowns next year.
I think buying Cardinals players in general is a pretty decent bet right now. Yes.
He had a safe 61% snap share. I don't think what's his name is going to Cavante Ingram or Amari DiMercario is really going to.
I kind of like DiMercado, but I don't think he's not eating into James Conner's production that much if he's there. Probably not eating into his production at all.
I don't think so.
I think he's a decent handcuff.
He's a good handcuff.
He's a good receiving back. I could see I think they like him a little bit, but he's not going to affect James Conner next year.
And On top of all this, he had an 89 PFF rushing grade, which is awesome. I think it was.
I would assume that would be top 5 in the league.
It was top 5.
Yeah.
So, you're getting a top 7 running back from production.
What was his points per game? He had to be
15.
15 points per game? Yeah, it's fantastic.
So, it's just like.
That has to be top 10 in points per game. I would assume top 12. You're getting top 12. You're getting an RB1 for nothing. Oh, for not nothing, but
and all you have to do
RB30. You're getting RB1 upside at RB30. Yeah, you're not buying him for fun.
You're not buying him if you're rebuilding, obviously, but like this is also kind of on the Najee train, but I think
it's a similar. Yeah,
it's just like James.
He probably
Conner
has higher upside than Najee, but Najee does have age on his side a bit.
It's a little different from that aspect. Yes. James Conner's kind of more of a buy now and start now. Najee's kind of
it's a contender.
Even
buy.
If he's not good next year, I kind of could see him having value for
another couple years.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great sleeper. I think that's a great buy. Let me get into my.
Thank you.
Let me get into my next sleeper. You'll get into your next sleeper. Then we'll talk. We'll wax poetically about our first and interest official sleeper, a guy we both love. But my second sleeper is a deep cut.
Hit me.
Zay Jones.
Ooh.
Wide receiver 75, 206th overall on Keep Trade Cut.
Okay.
I think this is a mega buy low. What, 206th overall? That's like 18th round of a startup. 20th round. You're getting this guy for
by Xavier Hutchinson.
You can get this guy for almost nothing.
Yeah, literally next to nothing.
Well, he had a weird year this year. His production wasn't great when he played. Only played 9 games. Last year he was the PPR wide receiver 26, 12.5 points per game, 82 catches, 823 yards, 5 touchdowns on 121 targets, 22% target share. 12th in the league in red zone targets last year. So last year he was a very productive player. You would think bringing Calvin Ridley in probably affects that a little bit, but also there was a meme this year that Calvin Ridley was only good when Zay Jones was on the field. Also,
yeah, no, he brings a decent
he stretches the field.
To that offense.
He brings a big wrinkle to that offense. Even in a weird year this year, I think he only averaged 9 points a game. He had 370 yards in the 9 games. Still averaged 7.1 targets a game, 18.4% share, 21.1% target rate, 13.6 ADOT, which I believe is top 15 in the league, and had 11 red zone targets in 9 games. He was also 24th in the league in unrealized air yards in 9 games, 601 in 9 games.
They like to use him down the field a lot.
Exactly. They took a lot of deep shots with him that didn't happen this year. His expected fantasy points per game this year, according to Player Profiler, 15.7.
Wow.
That's 24th in the NFL.
That has to be one of the most differentials,
Yeah,
right?
It was one of the bigger differentials. It was a 6-point difference.
That's unbelievable. That's
back on this kind of air yards thing. ADOT. He was getting used down the field a lot and just didn't really connect on a lot of them. It seems like 994 air yards last year in 16 games, 871 in 9 games this year.
Wow.
So they were taking a lot of deep shots with him, and I think the upside is very much there. They could lose Calvin Ridley this offseason if they decide to not extend him. Then that kind of leaves their receiving room with him and Christian Kirk. They do have an out on his contract, but it doesn't really save them that much. And if they don't extend Ridley, they need receivers there. I don't see a reason for them to cut Zay Jones.
He's a solid guy, dude.
He's a very productive player. Still only 28 years old. He really only broke out when he got to Jacksonville. Last year was his breakout season. Yeah. 820 yards, 80 catches, 5 touchdowns, right? Top 30 PPR wide receiver last year. You're getting a guy that has that level of upside. Could get back to a higher level of production without Calvin Ridley. Mm-hmm. And if they use him down the field like they did this year. They didn't really use him down the field that way last year. His ADOT was 9. So they were taking a lot of deep shots with him. The expected points per game, top 24. You're getting a guy who I think has a pretty high chance of being a top 30 PPR wide receiver next year.
Does.
Top 40 at the set wide receiver 75. It's not like he's old, 28, probably has a couple years of decent production left in him. You can get this guy for probably a 4th.
Yeah, if that. Maybe.
You can get him for, I would think you can get this guy for a very late rookie pick.
I agree.
And this is a great depth receiver piece that you could get for nothing.
If you just need somebody to patch
if you want if you need a veteran bench receiver,
mm-hmm.
This is a guy you could target.
I think
average
depth is
almost,
very important in fantasy.
You need some. This is cheap. This is the depth that helps you win leagues because you're getting this from. You're not sending any major asset for Zay Jones.
Yeah, you're just getting.
You're getting a guy who averaged 13 points a game last year. His peripherals were great this year.
Mm-hmm.
Was injured, weird year. Trevor Lawrence's peripherals were the same way.
It was just a weird year.
It was a weird year for the Jags. This is a mega buy low. You're getting this guy outside of a top 200 overall value. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to my wide receiver, and it's also going to be our first and inches official sleeper of the year.
This is the first and inches official sleeper.
Wan'Dale Robinson. This
dog. We're biased because we are Giants fans.
This is not even my bias talking. Like, I just think that this guy is special talent. Yes, he's very small. His arm length is very short. His physicals don't play really with him as much.
But he's very twitchy. He's super fast. First year off an ACL this year, he was pretty productive.
Yeah.
18.6% target share, 20.3% target rate.
But I honestly don't even take any of that into account. Like, this year's stats don't mean shit to me.
No, I think it means something in the fact that he had respectable target numbers in maybe one of the worst offenses in football.
Like, I think, for instance, like he had a 2.46 target separation, which was 4th in the league.
Yeah, his separation was fantastic.
He's one of the best separators in the league.
Player Profiler awesome. Had him at 4th in target separation, 8th in average cushion. He went 24 for 260 over his last 5 games. That's 10 PPR average with 0 touchdowns.
People forget that this guy ran a 4.4 and benched 19 reps.
Used to be a running back, super elusive in the open field. Just watching the Giants games as a Giants fan, he's the offensive player that stands out the most to me.
Easily, it's not even a question.
I agree.
Get him the ball. He's a weapon.
If you get him a consistent quarterback, he's going to be a very productive player.
You could get him for actually free. He's wide receiver 54.
I wouldn't say free. I would think the Wan'Dale Robinson owner...
If you don't live in New York, for free.
Probably. Yeah, that's true. But also, I think the Wan'Dale Robinson owner looks at his game log and says, oh, this guy gets 7 to 9 targets pretty consistently in a bad offense. If they're in a spot, they could add a QB. If you could send a 3rd-round rookie pick for Wan'Dale, smash. I would do that all day. I would do that all day.
I would probably, just because I'm a Giant fan, I'd probably send a late 2.
I'd probably pay 3.
I'd take a risk.
I respect that. I think he's a good buy because I think they're going to upgrade a QB. I don't think they go into next year with Daniel Jones.
Separation is one of the biggest indicators.
He's a separator
of fantasy production.
And they didn't really use him down the field a lot. They were using him a lot. They were scheming up a lot of touches for him.
Quick outs.
Just because their quarterback play was so mid a lot of the time. When Tyrod came in at the end of the year, those last 5 games, he was averaging 10 points a game without scoring. So I think this is a guy that gives you legitimate 120 target upside if they get a QB, he plays a full year. But I think that his size and injury is already baked into his price. Everyone sleeps on the Giants because they're not an exciting team. They sucked again this year. So, yeah, that's our first and inches official sleeper.
Yes.
Wan'Deezy.
We love you.
We love you, Wan'Dale. Come on the show.
That would be more than you'd be our whale, honestly.
That would be unbelievable. We would love for you to come on, Wan'Dale. We love you. So that's our sleepers, right? That's it.
That's about it.
Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share this wherever you want to. Thank you guys.
Have a great one.
Yup. Peace and love.